Hello, Year 8. I thought we'd start this week by just reviewing the work that I have seen from last week, although some of the comments that I'm going to make with regards to the work that you are sharing would also apply for the work that I have seen from weeks 1 to 3. I'm also, once I've gone through this summary, just going to show you some examples of students' work. In summary, what I would say, you need to remember when you're setting out your work, and you are using titles, dates, and objectives. There might be an exception if you are printing out my sheets, but if you've been unable to print out my sheets, then absolutely, definitely, there should be titles, dates, objectives. You should be copying the examples from the video and any other explanation or written sentences from the video. The whole purpose of the note sheets is just to give you an opportunity to not have to write quite so much. When it comes to setting out your individual work, will you make sure that your work is set out in the same way as is modelled in the videos? Don't just write an answer, show all the steps of your working out. I am setting a lot of questions for you to complete, but it is never my goal for you to complete all of those questions. So have a look how much time you have left once you have completed the notes, once you have watched the video, and only complete the amount of questions that you have in the remaining time. However, you should also be remembering to spend the last 5 minutes checking and physically marking your answers. How do you know how well you have got on in that lesson if you do not check your work? How do your teachers know that you have checked your work if you have not marked it? If you've got a question wrong, what do you need to do about that? From the answers, can you spot your mistake? Or should that be prompting you to ask your teacher another question, either via email or in the Ask the Teacher channel? And can I please remind you, you should be aiming to upload examples of your work at the end of the week for your teachers to look at. So let's have a look at a few examples and we will see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here is a student's work. It looks very neat and tidy. Certainly set out well. I can see some examples have been written down. Some further examples have been written down. So those have come from the video. But let's see what I can't see. I can't see a clear title. I can't see an objective. So which lesson is this from? It's not immediately clear to me. There's some good use of colour, but does the yellow highlighting mean that is an answer that has been checked? There's no clear marking here, so I'm not sure whether this student has got all the questions right or whether they've checked their work. Pleased to see they are trying level 1, level 2 and level 3 questions, but I would rather they spend a little bit of time checking their answers rather than trying to do absolutely every single question. This is an example of a student that's printed out the sheets, which is absolutely fine. That is great. And I can even see on the page in the book behind, there is a clear title, date, and objective. So this is looking fantastic. I can see that the questions have been tried on the page underneath the further examples. So I can see the examples have been copied from the video. So that's looking great. And I can also see that they have been checked. They have been ticked. That is looking like a great lesson's work. Probably the only advice that I would give to this student is make sure the sheets then get stuck in the book. But that looks like a really great example to me. Not many of you are doing this, but there is a recall and retrieve sheet to do every single week. I'm also doing a video solution to that. Now, what 1 or 2 of you are doing is you're not uploading this sheet, so I don't get to see how you've done with the recall and retrieve. But I can see this recall and retrieve's been tried. all the answers have been checked, and where a student's made a mistake, I can see in the different colour where they've changed their answer. I also showed at the side of this image how many photos this student has uploaded for the week. For some students, this is very, very typical. Remember, you can upload a maximum of 10 pictures, okay? So consider how much you want to show. If you've got more than 10 pictures, then perhaps the pages that I don't necessarily need to see are if you've printed out some of the notes pages and completed those from the video. But great example here of marking and correcting work. Here's another page. Okay, this student has obviously filled their maths book in, and that's fine. There are maths books available at reception if anyone is passing by school. But which lesson is this? Has this work been checked? Does this student know how well they have done? I do not know the answers to that question. So remember, check your answers, get that immediate feedback. You know whether you're having success or not. Here's another example. I can see titles. The objectives are missing in this work. On this one, I would say it's not clear to me whether the student has copied the examples down from the video. It might be they've produced a note sheet and printed that out, but that isn't clear to me. I can also see from the lesson above fractions 9, there is some work that's not been checked. So does that student know whether they've been successful at dividing by fractions? I don't know, because it doesn't seem to have been checked. So again, just to summarise, think about your presentation. Think about how you are setting the work out. And think about checking and marking your work. The reason we are providing answers is so you can have some immediate feedback. So please use it.